Hello, my friends, and this is your friendly neighborhood Tenkaichi with a bit of news that most of us have already known about, but apparently I haven't covered it. And this one came came to me from my friend Big Fatty Plus. Since he sent this to me on my Twitter feed, I figure since it's somewhat of popular news, I might as well share it. Now, most people have heard this story because it's been like circulating worldwide across the web. And this one is about this lovely article from the dailymail.com. Psychopath or best parent in the world. Dad orders son with bad grades to smash his Xbox with a sledgehammer as punishment. So here's what we know. A father ordered his son to smash his video game system and filmed it. Good parenting. Father makes son destroy one of his Xbox consoles for failing in school. Video viewed more than 53,000 times on YouTube. His son, Jason, seems to smash his Xbox 360 in clips but won't break his Xbox One. Jason had 3 weeks to improve his grade before the harsh punishment. Okay, let's scroll down. Let's scroll down to here. It seemed like game over for the Xbox systems of a slumping American student after his father ordered him to smash the video game consoles with a sledgehammer for getting bad grades. The boy, Jason, had 3 weeks to improve his performance at school, and he apparently couldn't get it together. Jason's father ordered him to smash his beloved gaming systems with the heavy hammer after placing them on the grass in front of their home and filmed the proceedings. The father ordered his son to smash. Okay, that's on. Okay. Right here is the left, that's the Xbox One. And over here to the right is an earlier model. So he was ordered to smash his beloved game system after he came home with bad grades. And the video went live on YouTube. The video, which is titled Good Parenting, Father Makes His Son Destroy One of His Xbox Consoles for Failing School, has been viewed more than 53,000 times on YouTube. It was originally posted to World Star Hip Hop and has been clicked about 730,000 times. In the clip, Jason says, "It's not my fault and I hate my life," before taking the hammer to what appears to be a white Xbox 360 console. After he smashed the console, Jason's dad ordered him to do the same thing to what looks like an Xbox One. The boy refused and threw the sledgehammer to the ground. As his father yelled at him to pick up the hammer and finish the job, Jason stood by the console and cried. The father used poor language and then said, "You do it or I do it." The video ends with Jason holding the hammer and staring at the ground, but the second console is still intact. Many commenters have praised the father for his heavy-handed approach, while others have criticized him for waiting 3 weeks before getting involved with his son's academic issues. Dr. Lauren Markham, a psychologist and parenting coach, said the father did wait too long, according to Yahoo Parenting. She also said, "Grades don't start when you get the report card, and 3 weeks isn't enough time to get good grades. Kids get good grades by keeping up with their schoolwork every day, and this is too late. Making your child suffer so he does what you want later will backfire. He's not going to start studying if no one is helping him form that habit." If the father did make Jason follow through with destroying the second Xbox, it would be an expensive lesson for the boy. Xbox consoles currently retail for about $350. Okay, so my take on this, if I sound differently, I just woke up. My take on this is simply, well, I see it like this. You can call bullshit on it however you want, but as a teacher, and I truly mean this, as a teacher, I feel that kids should study. And when you study, it brings in results. Because whenever you take a test, it's all about on what you studied. And if you didn't study hard enough or know it well enough, you're not going to get a good grade. It's just as simple as that. You're either going to get like a, a fail or a D at the most. If you really didn't study, you're going to get an F. If you kind of studied but didn't really put your nose in the book, you're going to get a D. And what I can say is doable. And if you're a struggling student, the least you can get is a C. It shows you have it. It shows you've made an effort. Now, I'm seeing it like this. My dad. My dad usually did this when he was alive. When I was younger and I brought in good grades, he usually take me to this old store named Fedco. And on like my fifth birthday, when I turned 5, or maybe it was 8. It was either 5 or 8. Anyway, he took me to Fedco and he bought me my first Nintendo Entertainment System. Now, the only thing I had to do was maintain good grades, and I could get more. This is something I feel is incentive enough to keep on getting what you like. You keep showing off the best effort you possibly can, and you're going to get rewarded for it. However, if you start slumping, and it's just not for no apparent reason, then either it's a psychological thing or you're just not trying hard enough. Now, if it's psychological, as in that you're getting bullied at school, the kids getting bullied at school, or the teachers giving them a hard time, or whatnot, then fine. Then you have to make the effort to find out what's going on as a parent. You have to make the effort of finding out what's going on. Yet, I also say this. Now, mind you, I'm taking both sides, so therefore it's like, I think you're wrong. No, I'm just saying what I feel. Okay, now, and I just share what's on this side of the spectrum. The other side of the spectrum is this. Okay, kids these days, they tend to be slackers. They tend to be slackers because, trust me, I teach Japanese first grade, so I know how it is. When you start to teach kids something that might help them along the way later on in life, then it's expected that you want what's expected of your students. You want them to be model citizens. You want them to do the right thing. You want them not to go in a place in which they shouldn't go later on in life, like, say, prison. Uh, Give me a moment. I'll be right back. As I said before, we all want what's best for our children. We also want to make sure that they know what kind of path that they have to take in order to become successful in life. And it's our job as teachers and parents to share our insight and tell them what they need to know about being successful for the rest of their life as they grow up in a dog eat dog world. Now, for this article, I had to say, I feel that this parent, I can applaud him for. Because, just to think about it, if I found my kid slipping in his courses, the first thing I would do is I would ask, is everything all right? Bringing up an attitude to me, I'm just gonna let him vent. I mean, a lot can happen, and when you get up to your teenage years, when kids get up to their teenage years, there's a whole lot of angst, and it's uncalled for, it's unnecessary, but it's just there. It's just there. And there's one thing you can possibly do to it: just let them vent it out, or or how I like to think, just let it go. Talk to them. Be more part of their lives now than ever, because they're going through something. However, if you're in school, and you can't maintain good grades, it is not easy to maintain good grades. However, if you bring in bad grades, and I know there's a slump. I went through that. I went through that myself. But the thing is, I had a support system. So I mean, like at 13 years old, you lose your father. Yeah, that really does take a hit. My focus, it really did take a hit. I didn't like it, and for the most part, I had to try to maintain my mental status. It's not easy, but have to maintain it, or at least the best you can. Now if you're just like you just bring in bad grades just because you don't feel like doing the work, then there's a problem. I mean, if it's just one time because of something happened, you're not on the ball, that's understandable. You can let that slide. But if you bring in if you constantly bring in bad grades over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, then right there, what makes you think I'm going to let you, I mean, as a parent, what makes you think I'm going to let you continue on like this? You bring in bad grades, and then you're playing on your game console without a care in the world, and you look at these bad grades, and then your kid's calling cop an attitude, saying he doesn't care or whatnot. He or she doesn't care. And to remember, your child is younger than you. You have the authority, you have the power to basically punish said child. I find this to be, I say this. It may have been extreme, but hey, you live under a house that you're born in under set rules. It's what you need to do. You know, you bring in good grades, you get rewarded. If you bring in bad grades, you get punished for it. And you know, if he start to whine and bitch about it, well, you have every right to do so. You have, I mean, if you're bringing in bad grades for no reason, you're just constantly failing, or you're just not making an effort say oh, graduate. If you're not making the effort to graduate, then yes, you have to make a move. You have to make a move in which it's a wake up call. That in itself is a wake up call. Okay, and another thing is, as far as society is concerned, some may approve of this because parents have. There are some parents that felt that way sometimes. Just they never had that kind of effect. Just for that to happen, like he actually made his kid do this. Yeah, you're only labeled a psychopath because it's out of the norm. That's what I feel. If you're a psychopath in a normal society in which I mean, not bad kids, kids who bring in failing grades and do not even try to take the effort of explaining why he brought in a grade like this. I mean, if he's copping an attitude, yeah. You know, I mean, if he's constantly bringing in bad grades, then you have every right to figure out what's going on. Albeit, all the same, if it was extreme, just to give him a wake up call, then that's what you gotta do. You gotta give a wake up call, because trust me, many, I've seen far too many parents actually cave into their children. It's a sad thing when parents cave into their children's demands. That's bad enough. And I see that happen like anywhere I go. Whether it's Smart and Final, where it's GameStop, whether it's hell, even at some place like a food store like Jack in the Box, well, a convenience store like not Jack in the Box, but 7-Eleven, or even a small fast food place like McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Burger King, you name it, whatever, wherever it is. And there's some children that throw a shit fit just because they can't get what they want. They don't take no for an answer. And then you could just see the parents' face, and like, you could just hear this, fine, as long as it shuts you up. You cave in. You know, that cave in. I've seen too many of that. I've seen too much of that, really. And this is a wake-up call to not just parents, but kids as well. The thing is this. If you have one of those days in which you're just off. It's okay. You can have an off day. It happens to the best of us. But don't let it continue to where it makes you suffer. It makes your whole house suffer. It's like it's understandable. If you have one off day in your whole school life, then it happens. You know, it happens. You have too much on your mind, and you kind of like keep it to yourself, but don't let other people know what's going on, of why you're bringing in, why you brought in this grade. Once it's acceptable, because I've actually done that, but the thing is, it was under different circumstances. I had an F once, but that's because the teacher gave me an F, and I was doing something good instead of something bad, and it was in computer science. And so the whole story about that is my mom got on this case about the fact that I did I did this, which is all I did was I did what I put in a code just to make this, just to see if it worked or not. And all I did was shared the notes with a classmate of mine, and that was it. And then he gave me an F for it. I said, if you're not teaching and I have the notes, then and somebody don't understand, I'm gonna pass what I did to my neighbors. Like, well, you don't have all of it. Here's the rest of it. But as I said before, you know, that's how I unjustly got an F. And then after that, I believe after that, I feel like after I graduated, he got fired. And nothing happened. I just basically said, well, you look at my grades. You tell me what you think. So how'd you get this? I said, well, I don't know. I really don't know. I did what I was asked. I did this. I made this, and that's what happened. He gave me an F for it, and then my F was turned to a C. But anyway, that's how you fix that problem. If you have one of those off days, or you just wasn't you were trying, but it just didn't happen, then that's understandable. However, if you just made an F just because you didn't put the effort into it or whatnot, and you constantly bring in Fs, an F to D, an F to D report card. If you're constantly bringing in failing grades, and you're not explaining why, and you have this attitude, and you want somebody to feel sorry for you, like, I hate my life, I don't want to do this, you're so angsty and emo and everything. I'm gonna call my spot. I'm gonna feel better about myself cause nobody likes me. That sort of attitude. I I said I would, as a parent, I would say, what the hell is this? I said, you never brought in a batch of bad grades like this before. Now you're doing this now? I mean, I'm glad the parent was taking the initiative to basically give him a wake up call. It could have been done better, but hey, if he copped an attitude, well, that should be a wake up call. You know, that's your fault if you didn't want to put in the effort to bring in some good grades. Then how else do you think? Then why should I have to reward you for bringing in some bad grades? I should reward you for bringing in good grades and not bad ones. If you had an off day, that's understandable. But if you're just constantly bringing in bad grades, then I'm going to have to do something about it. And then on top of that, copying an attitude, you make me think I should feel sorry for you. No. No. He's not, I mean, I'll say this. The dad isn't a psychopath for what he did. He might be the best parent in the world because he actually took the initiative to do something about this issue. So, I mean, that's all I had to say about that, about this article. Because honestly, yeah, I can tolerate so much. I can tolerate so much from this. And when you do good, you get good. However, if you do bad, you don't get anything. I should say, if you do good, but it continues to do this, and you're saying this right now. You're saying this right now. I'm offline. But as I said before, if you do good, you're expected some reward. If you do bad and constantly do bad, you're not going to get anything for it. So why should anybody reward you for doing something that you yourself are responsible for? That's what it all counts on. That's what really counts. Responsibility. Because only the child is mainly responsible for keeping up his good grades. And said child has a duty to keep up those good grades. Because really, that's what it's all about. You know, being responsible. So your job as a parent is to make sure that you nurture and care for your child and discipline when necessary. You know, if he does good, reward. Does bad, no reward. And I feel that the kid didn't hold up his end of the bargain when he said, when his father said, okay, 3 weeks. I'm giving you 3 weeks to pull up your grades. If you do not pull up your grades within 3 weeks, then this will happen. I mean, you know, that's what you should take that into account. This is what happens if you do not keep up with good grades. You're bound to basically get consequences. And you have to take consequences for your actions. If you don't uphold some kind of something like some good grades, then, you know, what'd you expect? So the moral of this story, take responsibility for your actions. Do what is asked of you Rewards are much sweeter when you actually do take the initiative. Take what is said to you as a child or parent to heart. Be responsible for your actions. That's what you have to do. Because either you're going to take the initiative to do something that you don't want to do, or something you're going to have to do. So it's initiative and responsibility. Don't slouch on it. Do what you have to do. And with that, I want to hear what you guys have to think about this, because honestly, I'm rather curious about what you guys have to say about this article. So please leave this leave me some kind of feedback in the comment section. I'm going to share this article in the description box below, and you can take a look for yourself and let me know what you think. So yeah, I am the Tenkaichi, and I have spoken. And with this, once again, thank you, Big, for this article. I'm not mad about this. I'm really not mad about this, because like I told him, I approve of this, because there are too many slackers going on. Kids can easily become slackers because they feel they can get away with it because of attitude and throwing a knit fit and everything else. This should be a wake-up call to not only the children, but the parents as well. So with that, this article's done, and I'm out. Take care, everyone.